Inking CROM Pages, Episode 9, Part 5 of the penciled and written by Jamie Barrows Barbarians of the Pit. I am going to spend some time. This is page 1 and 2. Get some inks on definitely page 3. And I was looking at 3 and 4 today. And 4 obviously has a lot of like white into black, which then means I'll be busting out some white pens to kind of smooth out some of these edges, as well as like white color pencil. What else do I have white? Just got chalk, but that will come later. Because right now I'm going to just keep throwing inks down. Get these pages out of the way. On these are the pencils in the CROM mock-up for anthology number 2 and 3. And that's, I think this is the page. This is the page right here. And keep this outside. Let me send out a reminder to all those over on Instagram and YouTube. Probably people working doubly hard because they took yesterday off, right? Yeah, right. Okay. And let me make sure the post is hit the Instagram. And it looks like it has. Nice. Nice. All right. Fudenosuke hard tip. I'm just throwing down some inks. Bringing some definition to the crazy I've started here. Blue residue from a Molotov. Like, what's that one? That's a what? And just get some weird message on YouTube. The comparison of the streams failed because one of the streams has an invalid configuration. All right, I don't know what that means, but thank you. I'm assuming I'm still. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm live and inking. Alive and inking. Upside down cross scar. Horns. Why do you keep giving me this? I don't know how to do it, so don't worry about it. Oh, all right, there we go. We got somebody in there. Doing some warm up. It takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to warm up. Get a little chatty. This page is going to be a lot of bouncing around between these two pens. Fudenosuke hard tip and the Shinjutsu. And you got a good medium weight, which is actually a lot like the green version, soft tip of the Fudenosuke. So I stopped buying those because when I bought these, it was kind of doubling up. And then this nice, when it's not dried out. Ooh, that's a fresh one. Boom, look at that. Just messing around with his mask. Another. I love the gray, working with gray, the Posca especially. And you can see how it works really well with the graphite. Give a little more black here, just on the transition curve of the horn. Nice. Come back and mess with that nose later, but that's this. I mean, what I've just been able to accomplish with this right here is really the outlook on the page as a whole. You know, working everything up to this point now starts bringing black into the picture, darker. You know, because basically right now it's a really light gray with a lot of like activity going on that I want to preserve. Specific areas, let go of, and other areas. So just have fun, as I say. Just have fun. Let's take some chances, make some different moves, see what the results are. If it works well, add it to the arsenal. Now this was when I was doing the prepping on the page with the washes and stuff. I just flicked my brush. So I have this kind of like bubbly liquid thing. Definitely let it kind of do its own because of the cosmic place that they're in. I do have Jamie's notes here that he sent. I'm going to check something. Wizard. I don't believe the wizard has a name yet. Just says the wizard. All right. Okay. That's cool. I'm good with that. I'm sure he's gonna. There's a good chance Jamie will bring a name to this wizard. Cool sword and sorcery name. It's always fun to make up, right? Toss them on. All right. Of course, the thing I'm thinking the most about is how the page at the end will react once it's just a flat black printed plate. So, and once again, having had some experience already with this technique and approach, I have good ideas of how things will come along. And then with some experimentation, sort of come up with other ways of letting things happen. These pages are very, very well prepped. a lot of tone and texture here to play around. But right now I'm getting these pages up to about like 80-ish, 75 to 80-ish percent completed. And then once I've gone through all 11 of them, I'll come back one last time and just sort of tighten and make some final decisions in places. Now, like I was talking about this stuff here, I really don't have any thoughts about it right now, but definitely as the pages go along, I'll start having like, like, ooh, maybe I could do this and really amplify the kind of thinking the psychedelic, like, what is that, lava lamp type of thing, where there's like, we'll see. That's kind of what I'm thinking about, but I'm not pushing anything. I'm not trying to make anything happen right now. These pages will and do speak for themselves. Jamie's pencils alone. So I'm excited to keep amplifying what he's brought to these pages in his line work, his pencils. You know what? I'm going to complete this because I'm actually going to get rid of that line here. Because I got this, the action lines I've got to bring back in, which I have the gray and then the white. And yeah. I'll have a bit of a floating head syndrome here. Good. And that's that black Tombow. Yeah. Here's the gray. Here's the gray ones, but the black one around here seems to disappear into the all the gray ones. Anyhow, they're water based, so once you spray them, or get water on there, it'll start getting this like fuzzy. I refer to it as like an airbrush feel, So, Mystery Eye Studio, hello, welcome. Yeah, it's when it comes to process, I think I'm really curious on this whole idea of moving into the future as artists and having to sort of look like comics. You know, the visual aesthetic, whether it's old, a nostalgic look, or um, contemporary in the sense of what books are popular, or like manga, for instance. That's a heavy hitting feeling. I know I'm seeking to bring more manga feeling to my work. Appearance is one thing, but using the graphic nature of how manga is made. The curiosity I'm in is that with the fight for recognition in the world, and then the added um, AI generated slop, or whatever you want to call it, art. I don't even know what to call it. Um, Definitely don't really think of it as art per se. But my thing is, I'm assuming I'm not living in this world per se yet, but the more unique to who you are for identification, I think is going to play out better than trying to um, um, work in a house style, or a reputable style art wise, in let's say acceptable looking like um, comic art. um, I know for me, and when I find a book, or a book finds me, it most definitely is because the artist approached it as deep from themselves as possible, and it reads, and there it's undeniable. And I want the book. I want more of what the artist is saying with their art. And yeah, um, and not that it's a difficult thing to find. I actually think it's quite the opposite. I just think we're in a place now where it does behoove us, and I'm definitely working at uh, an individualistic style that comes from me, and therefore people will find it recognizable. In other words, people will go, "Oh, yeah, that's Kurt Bruegel," instead of, "Oh, that looks like comic book art." That type of thing. And that's, I can feel that as a bit of a challenge. In other words, like, if I'm too unique, will I turn off too many people? You know, do more people buy comics because they look and feel like a comic, however that's determined? um, so it's been on my mind a lot lately, is how to navigate the attention gathering world for a few moments in order to mellow. Good morning, almost afternoon for me. It's like 11:30. But the I can't stop thinking about, like, um, how we can recognize, like, for instance, Frank Frazetta. There's a lot of copycats, Frank Frazetta copycats, right? Um, which is okay, because if there's only so much Frank art. And once you run out of Frank art, you'll definitely go looking for more art that looks like Frank. And I think that serves people. But those people are then reserved to being Frank clones. So the first thing wouldn't be that, artist name, insert artist name recognition. It would be, oh yeah, that's the guy who works on the stuff that looks like Frank Frazetta. I like that stuff. And then you recognize, oh, that's, don't want to name anybody, but there's a couple out there we know who they are. So, but also having a style so you can kind of not have to be socially present all the time. And then when you do appear again, and you might be gone working on something for a period of time. Once again, the recognition is there because the work looks like my work. I'm making work that looks like my work. But I'm just speaking in a broad, curious way, in trying to figure the game out, which is at this point a pretty sorry way of approaching anything in this world, as much as it changes from day to day. Now, this character, I'm thinking they have like a mid-range color of hair. So I'm just going to keep that going. And we'll return later. Although I do want to get some neck. I love this jumbo tip. Watch how juicy this is. Look at this. Ooh, man. If I pick this paper up, most of this stuff will just like oosh away and we just drip. Love it. Love it. I'll be using this a lot on page 3, page 4. Maybe not a lot. I'll probably end up using more white brush markers and probably even some gray, or maybe even black. Because this is going to be a very, very bold, heavy page. Purposely wanted that page. That's like the first, this is the beginning of the action, but that's like all action. All right, here we go. So we got this head drop there. So I got to bring some of that. I got to bring a lot of that definition back in. I love this foot right here. It's a great foot. Pretty damn bold move, Jamie. The toes are all like spread out because he's dry. It's just great. Great action. Yeah, this was one of the things I was saying last episode was putting in a sound effect, like maybe like a thwomp. Let me get a piece of paper here. Write down a couple of sound effects. Like thwomp. Sham. Let's try like a different version of slam. Slam with a B, like lamb. Like thump. The dash there. I think I'll go with that. Let me grab a. You know what? I have these. Where did I put them? I was looking for those. That's a good thing because that box is covering up. No, that's that. Color pencils, all right. I have a box of. Has these. Yep. Yes. So I got this like box full of miscellaneous. These are like either drying out. The pens I just don't find. Oh, backup pens. But yep, there they go. Here it is. All right. Good. Wasn't as bad. Oop, I'm gonna use that too. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go through this later. Oop. Okay. All right. And of course, these. This is always fun. This is a nice ink brush. And then I use it like Ken Landgraf. I'll get some actual ink on the side and just double leg, and then brush it on and everything. So we'll say there. But this is Staples black marker. Like the way it's got this chisel tip. That's what I'm looking for. See how you get that? I like that. Definitely for writing like some sound effects stuff out. So I'm going to also pencil. Pencil. Here you are. So we want to go. So his head's here. I think I'm going to go this way. So lump like that. Yep. It's good by me. And then I can play around that with these good old let it work with the rough texture of the background. Just want to give it a bit more separation from the background. Very cool. Got another idea I want to do once this dries. All right. No, there it is. Getting his bell rung. That's this guy here, which definitely going to play with some gray color pencil, bring out the hair on him so I can kind of run some gray color pencil here lighter and then over here just to help with the transition. Like splattering a tomato. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Come on nicely. Making sense of it all. Must work from this hand down. That's all busted up. Bam! All right. Sorry if I'm not too chatty today. Like I said, and I've said in the past, I get real contemplative, making some moves here, watching the moves happen. I was gonna be doing this today anyways, and I thought I'd just jump on. Something comes to my opinionated noggin, spew it, but I'm just really into Jamie's line work. And since this is my first time inking him, don't want to miss anything. Oh man, just laughing at like, that's just how awesome this is. So great. It's great how something comes together, pretty effortlessly. And whatever it's such a lie to say when I was throwing these pages into their turmoil of, all this crazy, like I was thinking about it, I wasn't thinking about really anything other than what could I do next? What could I do next? What could I do for this page? Like what would work, to really kind of put in some excitement. And there's just so much excitement right now, which has me pretty speechless right now. And definitely, and the excitement's based on the way the original pencils informed me to, generally do what I did here, by liquid masking and then throwing on graphite wash. And then once that dried and then it was removed, there's this faint pencil lines from Jamie's um, um, drawings, and then my, mess, as most people are probably thinking of it as. Um, and what I'm doing right now in molding these two together, and it's just working very nicely for me. I'm sure for some right now looking, they're just like, what is that? What is this? And you'll have to buy the comic to see how, because it really will be how well I perform my duties as an inker in order to get the printed page to come out the way my mind's eye sees it. And that's why I'm giggling, because I'm getting very, very anxious to see these pages in print. Even at this point. That's why I like getting proof copies, mock-ups and such. Boom. It's going right in there. Let me catch this here. Cool. Put this leg back here. Nice. Bam. Bam. Just bam, bam, bam. Thump. Thump. Keep working on it. Here's this. This is gonna be fun here. The grin. Get the. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. These big horns are off. So it's kind of like that other horn is like right to this guy's stomach. Tempted to like have some drooling here. other hand here. I want to check something real quick. All right. So there's going to be a lot of black added next go around. Really going to make a decision on knocking some of these areas out. Probably like bam, 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 bam. So, like if I do something like I did this effect on his gladiatorial like skirt, then of course I got to bring the effect over to the next page, or obviously consecutive pages. But even in my process, like I could get out to page 11 and do something to like this character, and then we'll go back and effectively apply that to every time that character's like presented. So sometimes I have ideas and I wait till I feel like there's an appropriate moment where to see if that'll work, and if it does, then I'll come back and do that. So, like I said, I work in waves, it's not just simply sitting down and completing a page. I usually have 3, if not a very light 4th time spent, just making marks makes sense. That's really kind of what it's all about. Sometimes I'll put things down and the next day I'll be like, I don't know, it doesn't really make much sense. Maybe I'll white that out or gray that out or black that out and take it from there. But yeah, this is coming along really nicely. Like I said, no surprises, which by the time I get to page 3, I'm not really worried about surprises. Okay. I'm going to throw a little bit more this comic booky effect. Cool. Like, to be honest with you, right now, like that I just did, maybe not something that I'll stick around when I come back at another pass. But I threw it in there just to see. Just to see. I can always work right over the top of it. But we're coming along nicely. About an hour into this page. Bam. Oh yeah, that's right. This is a inset kind of like panel. That comes all the way down. This runs all the way across. Nice. And then All right, now when he comes back, throws one down on him. A horned fella. Boom. Smackdown 2026. So I made a liquid masking brush mark for the, the elbow to the chin. So I want to try to work off of that and leave things in here lighter. So I'm going to kind of work around it and then come back later and finish it off. And now I'm just trying to grab the dark stuff. darkening the pages, if you will. Even leaving that back rope real light. Heads on the rope. Feel him grinding his teeth. Now, the biggest thing I'll end up doing very much towards the end is really the spotting blacks. So I don't like doing that too quickly unless I just know it's going to work as just a solid black shape. I'll just kind of make some indications, even from the pencils, that, like I'll fill this in a second, but for the most part, I'm even feeling like this whole arm could just go black. Let's see, this can as well. Nice. Nice. Coming along swimmingly. Cool. Now I'll bust out some solid black. Cool. Shadow under that just makes sense. You might make that. And then, like I said, this will all get filled in. All right, and then this area I'm going to come back later, probably with a 0.5 high-tech C, but I just wanted to get these Funosuke tip outlines, line work, bringing back Jamie's pencils. All right, cool. I kind of played around with this design, the panel design with the pencils. Still thinking out how graphic I'll get this. Get that really nicely shaded black. This is going to be a heavy black over here. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Great grimace. And then his teeth. Nice. This can just go black. Makes sense. So I like that texture. It just makes sense to let it go back. Let it go solid black. Nice. All right, I'm gonna play out some thick. There we go. I'm even gonna do it here, and then right over here. That'll work for right now. Let me get this scar. All right. Whoo. Boom. Whoo. All right. A little session. Very nice. Page 3, Barbarians of the Pit, penciled, written by Jamie Barrows. The cameo star appearance of our boy CROM the Barbarian. Wow, that was intense. I didn't even get the action line in there. That's going to be just a lot of ruling, not fun and everything. But, well, this is what it's all about. Still have some decisions. Definitely here. This is a big decision. Talked about blacks here, lighter lines in here with the high-tech C. Got to work on that nose, and then in here. So there's still some outstanding questions, and they will get their answers at some point in time. But right now, page 2, and then page 1. So we got some decent work out of the 11. Friday, we'll be on this page 4, and as I was saying, I'm definitely getting anxious to use some brush tip white acrylic paint markers. Here, I'll even show off the page. This is like a really, yeah, there you go. So there's the pencils for that page. But I love the wood blocky linoleum cut kind of feel and some of the streaking. So going to be gingerly working around all this black wash and spray paint, not to really lose much, but to use white paint markers to define the characters from the pencils. So, and then having the solid white shapes and then working black line work, some black shapes. Probably the blackest shapes on this page, like flat solid black, will be this character's hair. So you got that boom, 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 boom. He's got a like a harness that'll probably play it. But other than that, it's going to be just as Jamie has in the pencils, very delicate um, pen, like information, line work information. So wow, totally excited. Really nice. Love it when a plan comes together, as they say. But let me just throw that out like that. But that's all I got for the day. We spent about an hour and a half together. Thank everybody to come cruising through, checking in on what's happening, whether it was during the live feed or on the replay. But that is what I have for everybody today. And see everybody on Friday, I'm thinking. If not Saturday. Saturday would be the fallback on. But other than that, I will say good day and thank you.